Hello, good evening. How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, how's everyone doing out there? Oh, I like this is a better setup.
This is a much better setup. It makes just much more sense. We're just high on these stools. Hey guys, what's going on? How are you? John and I have a different setup.
Yeah, we switched our chairs for stools because this big, huge screen we've been using was always looking so strange to us because we were like super close to it. We're a little farther away from it now, and it all just seems more natural for us.
Just seems so much better.
So much better.
Anyhow,
so how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?
Hopefully you all are doing great. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about or who we even are, my name is Radlin Mendoza, and this is my law partner and husband, John Gardner. And we started our immigration law firm 22 years ago.
That's right.
And we come here live every Wednesday night or almost every Wednesday night to answer your immigration questions and see what y'all are up to in the world of immigration and all that good stuff. So
that's right. We started this a couple of years ago. It all started to bring updates on all the executive orders that were coming from the governor's mansion at the very beginning of COVID. And we were trying to keep everyone up to date. And it just kept going. We come here every Wednesday night from 8 to 9. And we do still give you immigration law updates if there are any. There haven't been very many lately. Other legal updates if we think that they're important for the community to know. And most importantly, as Radlin just said, we like to answer your questions. So if you bring your immigration questions, we'll get to them. I will tell you, warn you, advise you that what we do here is not legal advice. It is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not legal advice. And I also want to let you know that over to the side here, I also will be checking in quite often with our TikTok family. We simulcast here, so we're on Facebook Live. We're also on TikTok at the same time. And so I'll be monitoring all these questions over here on TikTok. So if that's, I wonder if I'm looking distracted, that's what I'm doing.
We're not distracted. My mom's here. Hi, Mama.
Hey there.
My mom is joining us from the Philippines. Happy early Mother's Day. Now, y'all didn't forget that it's Mother's Day on Sunday, right?
Do not forget.
Do not forget that.
That's a bad one to forget.
We all have moms, so say Happy Mother's Day to your mom.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyhow, you have an immigration success story.
Yeah, one of the things we also like to do is just a little brief, sort of we call it an inspirational immigration story. And this again started about a year ago, and we don't always do it, but I try to do it fairly often. You know, there's so much negative. I don't know. I felt like there was so much negative immigration news that was always coming out everywhere we would go. People would ask us questions about the border wall or, you know, asylum and this and that. And I don't know, everybody seemed to always have this impression that immigration was just this one issue that was confined to the southern border. And we were just always reminding people that immigration is so much bigger than that. And so I said, you know, I'm going to start trying to bring an inspiration story just to remind people that there's a whole lot of other immigration out there that you don't hear about in the news. For example, most of you probably know who the wealthiest person in the world is right now. You've probably seen him in the news quite a bit. Elon Musk, who just purchased Twitter.
Elon, my guy.
Like the owner and founder of Tesla and sends astronauts to space all the time now in SpaceX. He was one of the co-founders of PayPal and made a ton of money there. So what a lot of people don't know is that he is a U.S. citizen, but he is a naturalized U.S. citizen. He became a U.S. citizen in 2002 in Fairplex, California. And Radlin and I were just talking right before we came on about, you know, what did you say? That just think he was filling out the N-400, and at some point he was sitting there being interviewed by a USCIS officer.
Like, I want to know what the officer's like. I interviewed Elon Musk.
That's right. Yeah, I'm the one that approved his case.
Like, he got 2 questions wrong.
Yeah. So, you know, his story, you know, is kind of an interesting one, and it's an immigration story that you might not really think about. He's born in South Africa. His mother was a Canadian national, and he was able then to have a Canadian passport, and he would come back and forth to the U.S. fairly often with that. He decided that he wanted to have a green card and set out a way to do it. And the way he did it was he first got a student visa. He went to the University of Pennsylvania. He got a bachelor's degree in, I forget what it was. I think it was like aerodynamics and business, or what I say, hydroconductors in business or something like that. I forget the exact, some technical science field along with business. So he was able to get his bachelor's degree. And the reason he wanted to get his bachelor's degree is because he ultimately had his sights on working for a company who would be able to sponsor him for an H-1B. And he thought, okay, well, if I can get an H-1B, I can stick around longer. And then maybe this will lead to other things.
Sponsorship, right.
And so that was his original plan. So after he gets his bachelor's degree, he then went out to Stanford to get a PhD in another area in physics. But got distracted by the internet that was blowing up at the time, and ended up co-founding an internet company that ultimately he co-founded then with another guy to make PayPal. And he sells this business and makes a lot of money, and then he's able to do an investor visa, an EB-5, and then he goes from there. And the rest is
got
history.
his green card through the EB-5.
Gets his green card through the EB-5, and then after the requisite time, he's able to then apply for citizenship. And in 2002, he becomes a naturalized citizen of the United States.
So the story is actually really, so you don't think about Elon Musk with the U.S. immigration, but it's very similar to what you all have done, what our clients have done. I mean, taking the steps and, as John said, setting your sights on, okay, I want to get an H-1B so I can be sponsored by an employer. That's what he wanted to do, which is, I don't know, kind of hilarious to me because
I just checked. He was going to get a PhD in supercapacitors. Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone has to go through this process, guys. It's not just you all, it's Elon Musk as well.
So Elon Musk starts with a student visa to come to the United States, and ultimately it ends in citizenship. And so he has, like thousands of people that we have worked with and know, he has an immigration story. Yeah. A wonderful, successful immigration story. And it's a perfect example of what we want to remind people, that there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. And wherever you are in your immigration journey, hopefully it's inspiration for you to stick with it, because, Elon Musk can only stay number one for so long. You could be the next one to pass him.
Absolutely. Could be me, but I'm not a naturalized U.S. citizen. I was born in the United States, so it's probably not going to be me.
Right.
Just kidding. All right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, a little fun story.
Let's see here. Oops. Oh, that's my mom. I have the mouse here. It's a little touchy. Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day again. And thank you for joining us, Mom. And if John's mom, my mother-in-law, is here, happy Mother's Day to you too.
I don't see her on there, but she might be.
She could be. She could be.
And hopefully all of you are making your Cinco de Mayo plans for tomorrow.
Was that tomorrow?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Did we get any tacos? I don't know. All right. So Gemini, how's it going? We would be happy to help you. Yes, you are the one with the 2 birth certificates, remember, from last time. And let's see here. Oh, Miss Evelyn is here. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. She loves my hair. Yeah, my sister said I look like BTS, the Korean band. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're asking Evelyn, and I'm like, yeah, it looks great. It looks great. But so anyhow, guys, we are going to answer your questions that you have that you put in the comments. For those of you all on TikTok, if you want to come over to Facebook, it's at Gardner Mendoza Law. I just go into Facebook and just put Gardner Mendoza Law, and you can actually type your question in there. There's no, you can type a lot more characters if you have a long question, and we will put it up on the screen for you. But we do have a question here from Mel.
Let's get right to it.
Let's do it. All right. So Mel, what a beautiful photo that you have. Hello, I've been waiting since 2022 for interview appointment for my wife. Is there any other way to make it faster? She's a nurse in the Philippines. I am a green card holder. Thanks. So unfortunately, I think the question is, she's a nurse. Is there any way that we can make the process faster because she's a nurse? And I think I'm reading into that question as that. So with regard to expediting the case, because you're a healthcare worker and we really need you to be in the United States, I believe that's going to fall outside of this particular scenario because she's a nurse in the Philippines and not a nurse being petitioned for by, a healthcare company or a hospital. And Mel, I'm sorry that you've been waiting for such a long time, but that's kind of the whole world right now, just waiting for their interview appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Manila, as well as in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and as all over Ciudad Juarez, all over the world. People are waiting for visas to become available. A few months, maybe about a month or so ago, we went over the backlog, and a couple of months ago, it was, around 400,000 people who are documentarily qualified, just waiting for an interview. So we will see what happens in October 2022 and see what USCIS comes up with. This is actually a State Department issue and interviews, and if they're going to be more resources put towards trying to get rid of this backlog. So thanks for that question. That was a really great question, and just hang in there.
Yeah, COVID, did a lot of bad things. This included.
Yeah.
I mean, this process already, to use an analogy for folks who live down here, it was already like the HRBT, the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. The cases were already, trickling through, and as long as everything just kept moving slowly, it was just fine. But if one lane goes down in that tunnel, it backs up for miles and miles and miles. And so that's what's happened here. Is once it was shut down for a little while, now it's just like a nightmare because it was already just, okay.
Backlog. Okay. Why don't we grab, I see a lot of questions rolling on TikTok.
Yeah. It's
funny with TikTok, sometimes the people are there for like a second, leave a question and then maybe not hear the answer. But if you had to dip on TikTok, just come and watch. This is being recorded, and you can come and watch it on our Facebook. We have all of our live stream videos on our Facebook page. So if you're really bored one night, you can watch all of our videos from 2020.
Yeah, and
February 2020.
A lot of the questions are, repeats. I mean, I know some of the questions I know we will get tonight because we get them every single week. And so there are a lot of patterns that emerge, and you may want to look back and see if those help you out. And I also want to mention that, we represent folks all over the country and all over the world. So it doesn't matter where you are, because I saw somebody here is asking about the process and fees. And I just wanted to remind everyone that our physical location, we're here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, but we have clients all over the country and the world. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you want to make an appointment with us for a consultation, you can do that. If you want to then go on to an actual strategy session with one of the attorneys, we can really, really, really dig deep into the facts and give you some legal advice on what to do in your case.
Yep.
Okay. And of course, if you want to retain us to represent you, then we just take over and you just sit back and relax.
Well, we do give you some homework though. So one of our clients here on Facebook in the comments, I didn't meet her. We did her whole case. I never met her until the day of her interview. So, and sometimes we don't meet our clients in person, unfortunately, because if they have an interview, say in Manila, and their final destination is San Francisco, then we only meet them through Zoom. And that's the way it's been even before COVID and even before work from home. It's just because the nature of our business is to represent people all over the world, and we can't be all over the world, but we can. And the predecessor to Zoom, of course, was Skype.
Yes.
And I'm happy that we don't have to use Skype anymore. There's so many other choices. Like we have Messenger, video, we have WhatsApp. And so anyhow, we can help you no matter where you are, as John said. I like to repeat exactly the same thing that John says in a different way.
That's true.
Maybe even the same way.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's conducting business that way now, or not everyone, but a lot of people. But honestly, we were doing that for years before COVID. So for us, it was really not a big change. But okay, here's the first question off of TikTok. And this may require kind of a general answer, and we might need some more information. But take a stab at it. He says, hello, I have a question. I am a Mexican, and I have a U.S. citizen father, and I'm living here in the United States. How can I fix my status using my father? So
Yeah.
we would need more info, but
We
maybe
would
you
need
could
more
speak,
info.
speak
Yeah.
more just generally about that.
There are a couple of things here. Dad is a U.S. citizen and son is here in the United States. We don't know how son got here, or whether son came with inspection. We don't know how old son is.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of things pop in my mind. Is there's a possibility that maybe son has derived citizenship from dad, or perhaps dad can petition for his son. But how do you fix that? You can reach out to us and we can schedule an appointment, and we can go over, all the facts of your family history, your immigration history, the number of times you've been to the United States, in and out, and get down to business and see what exactly we can do for you in order to, either get a green card, or if you have the facts to derive citizenship from your dad, to apply directly for the U.S. passport. So those are just some options. Again, as John mentioned before, this is not legal advice. Those are two facts that were thrown at us in the comments, and there's 50 more questions that we would need to ask.
Maybe son is a minor and his mother abandoned him in Mexico, and so he made his way here by himself and was able to find his father, in which case he could pursue a case through that.
Yep.
So there are lots of different possibilities there, and that's a perfect example where we would really need to fully analyze to figure out what the options are. All right, you want to grab one more here real quick before we get back?
Go for it.
Urquith wants to know, says, I'm going to apply for naturalization this month. Good job.
Yay, awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. That's great. When I do submit it, is it possible to go fly to another country like the Philippines?
Okay. So I believe,
by the way, this is one of the questions that we get almost every
week. I believe the core question is, when I apply for U.S. citizenship, am I allowed to travel outside of the United States while my application is pending? So there's an interesting thing that so many, an interesting, not thing, but belief, it's a belief that we've heard a lot in the comments. We've heard a lot on our live stream on TikTok that you cannot travel while your N-400 application is pending. That is the belief, and that is not true. So if you're going to your best friend's wedding in the Philippines and you filed your N-400 and you need to go, then go. I wouldn't stay out for more than 6 months. I wouldn't stay out for more than a year. I would try to make it back for your biometrics. Or if you can't, try to reschedule it. But there is no bar to traveling while your N-400 application is pending. So hopefully that answers your question.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want to go for the wedding? Yeah.
The reason I bring up wedding is because I had a client and that was the thing. She came in and she's like, well, I thought I couldn't apply if I was going to be traveling out of the country. So she had waited a few extra years because she wanted to go on some trips, and she didn't know when it was, when the N-400 was going to get done. And so she waited to apply so she could go and do her trip. So don't do that. Yeah.
Do you remember that wonderful? It was a second wedding. It was a renewal of vows when Bill.
Was it ours?
Bill and Babung, we went to the Philippines to see a renewal of vows.
My cousin.
It was a big wedding, and it was
huge.
It was really cool. It was outside with all these lights everywhere, and it was neat.
That was awesome. That was a great party.
And we took a limo from the Regalia Tower.
Oh, it was so hot.
Yes, it was very hot.
Great memory. All right, so let me grab a couple of questions here. Let's see. Christina says, I've been waiting for my approved green card for about 2 years now. How long do I have to be a resident to apply to become a citizen? And since I've been approved already, has that time started? So, all right. So I believe Christina is saying she is a lawful permanent resident, has been a lawful permanent resident for 2 years, but for some reason she does not have her green card. Is that correct? And how long do you have to be a resident to apply to become a citizen? And since I've been approved already, has that time started? So she's already been approved. She's lawful permanent resident already. If you have been a lawful permanent resident for 5 years, then you can apply for U.S. citizenship. And in fact, you can apply 90 days early. So you can subtract 90 days from that. That would be 4 years and 9 months. If you got your green card based on, you're married to a U.S. citizen and you've had your green card for 3 years and your spouse has also been a citizen for 3 years and you have been living with your U.S. citizen spouse for 3 years, then you can do it at the 3-year mark. So hopefully that helps. That is just a general rule. And again, we have I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. I'm uncertain as to, whether you've been a permanent resident for 2 years or whether you've been waiting for 2 years to get your green card. If you don't have lawful permanent resident status, then
that's the only thing. There's little confusion in the question.
That is just the general rule for you guys to know. So hopefully that helps. All right. And then another question about timing from Nizam. When can Guyana expect interviews documentarily qualified since September of 2021? Boy, I wish I could tell you all. If I said, hey, if you give me $5 and I could tell you exactly when your interview is going to be, I'd have a lot of money, right? We'd be rich. But unfortunately, it's just so hard to say. I mean, it really is. It just depends on resources and how it's moving and, where you are in the line. I mean, 2021, some people have waited 2 years to get an interview. But again, I don't know how Guyana is moving as far as their interview schedule is concerned. Here's another one. Sierra says, been waiting for an interview appointment for mom and Mila. It's been a year. Any updates? Again, no, just waiting for an interview slot. For all of you who are asking about when is the interview going to happen? When is the interview going to happen? I am really feeling for you guys because we get this question all the time. It's one of the most frequent questions and comments that we have in our social media. We've been waiting for an interview. Are there any updates? The updates, unfortunately, are we still have a massive backlog and we're not sure how they're dealing with it and what's going to happen. So I'm sorry that we can't be more helpful on that. And do you want to grab a question? Because
we've got a couple over here. One person wanted to know if USCIS workers are only working from home.
No,
nope,
they're not.
They
are working in the
They're back at the office. I'm sorry.
No. They're back in the office. And there are programs in USCIS where you can work from home. But from what I have observed, most of the officers who are interviewing, they're in the office and not working from home. But I think there are options to work from home. Okay, let's tackle this problem here. This is Miss Maria. Hello. Good evening. So great to see you here on our live stream. So this is in Spanish. She says she has a question. How many times am I allowed to go to Mexico in year if I have my green card? Okay. So how many times am I allowed to go to Mexico with the green card? I believe that is what the question is. If I have any native Spanish speakers on here in my comments, let me know if I'm way off on that. But you can go back and forth as many times as you want. However, you should not stay outside of the United States for more than 6 months. I would not advise that. And definitely not over a year. If you have to stay outside of the United States for over 6 months, I would most likely recommend that you apply for a re-entry permit, and we can help you with that. But one of the things for people to kind of be aware of when they're traveling, they have their green card, is that you don't want them to think that you are abandoning your lawful permanent resident status here in the United States with your travel. So sometimes we see people, they'll go outside of the United States and, say they'll travel to Mexico for 5 months, come back into the United States for 2 weeks, go back out again for 4 months, come back into the United States for another month. And they're doing this traveling where they're actually living in Mexico and they're not really living in the United States. They're just coming back here, so they're not outside of the United States for 6 months. I don't recommend that you do that type of traveling because it will catch up with you. I mean, I've seen cases where at the port of entry, the parents, the green card holders, they get that green card taken away from them because they're kind of pressured into abandoning that green card. Because, like, look, you don't really live in the United States. You live, wherever. So just be careful with that. That's the only thing I would let you know. And Miss Maria is native Spanish speaker. If you want someone from my office to explain that to you, please give us a call. All right.
Yeah, we have several fluent Spanish speakers in our office. And so if you ever reach out and make contact with our office and you prefer to speak in Spanish, then we have several folks that can help you. Okay. Yep. We had a question, a general question about immigration reform. And I'm sorry to report that for any of you who followed this early on, that issue is pretty much off the board right now. And so if anything changes, I will certainly report on it, but that's kind of been dead for a while now. Any major immigration reform, I don't know if there'll be little bits and pieces. Who knows what'll trickle out, but I think until after November, when the next congressional election is, I don't expect to see any movement there at all.
Yeah.
All right. And also a question here, U.S. citizen spouse petitioning for, I don't know if it's the husband or the wife, but essentially the question is they're homeless now. Homeless, living on the streets. They'll probably need some sort of pro bono services to help with the case. But I think the question is that going to be a problem? In other words, the fact that they're homeless now, is that going to create a problem for the petition?
Yeah, so potentially, we have the logistics of where's your mail going to go. Perhaps there's a PO box. We have the other logistics of address where the jurisdiction where you live and what office you're going to be going to, if we're talking about an adjustment of status here. And then the other thing is that in order to file a petition and then get the green card through that petition by filing green card application, or if you're doing consular processing, immigrant visa processing, then the petitioner has to file the affidavit of support. Now, if you don't have any income, which is most likely the case here, or maybe not, but let's just say there's no income, there's no job, then you still have to file that affidavit of support. You have to make a statement as to why, write a statement as to why you didn't file your most recent taxes and why that was okay for you to do that. But you can get a joint sponsor. You can get a joint sponsor to also make a promise to the government that if your spouse has to go on any type of means tested benefit, then your joint sponsor and you promise to pay the government back. So I think that with regard to the homelessness, it's we've never had that question before, and I'm sorry that you are going through that. Hopefully you can find some community service that can help you out. But if you get a PO box and that's where your mail can go, if you have a friend that would allow you to use their physical address, because you have to have on the application, they're asking for your physical address, right? So, again, it's more logistic stuff that I really believe, sorry, I'm kicking it, really believe that it can be worked out with some of these things that I just mentioned. So good luck to you all. I hope that you're able to get into a home or get somewhere where, you have an address that you'll be able to file.
And that's some really, really good practical information, not advice, but information.
Yep.
Okay, and I see that, Eric Soriano, though, that was a TikTok question. Looks like he jumped over to Facebook, but we already answered that question about whether he could fly to the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Look,
after applying.
Miss Maria answered back. She says, "Thank you, my super lawyer."
Yay.
That's sweet.
Nice.
Be like the super lawyer. I like that.
Okay, let's see here. Wingert Farm Creations has a question.
Okay.
I like to read these sometimes. They're fun.
I know. I know you do. Which is confused me, like, what?
Just got my U.S. passport. Can I petition my...
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Can I petition my parents and my siblings at the same time?
Yes. Yes, you can. So I'm going to go into this for a second.
We want you to, because
I'm going to go into this for a second. Do we know the country? Doesn't matter.
Wingert Farms Creations. Can you give us a country?
It doesn't really matter. So when you become a U.S. when a person becomes a U.S. citizen, then you can petition the people that you can petition for broadens to include your parents and your siblings. So lawful permanent residents cannot file a petition for their parents and their siblings. Only U.S. citizens can. So you file a petition for your parents, okay? And the question here, can I file a petition for both of them simultaneously? Absolutely, you can do that. Strategically, however, you may want to take a look at the visa bulletin and see whether your parents should be the one to file for your siblings once they immigrate to the United States as lawful permanent residents. Now, if your siblings are married, then your parents aren't going to be able to do that as lawful permanent residents. So you may want to give us a call.
Yeah.
So we can see what the best route is for filing the petition. If you had all the money in the world, then I would say everybody file a petition, right? You file a petition for your siblings when your parents get here to the United States, if they can, if they're not, unmarried, file a petition for their children. But we do get this question a lot, especially when there's concern about filing for parents and the parents have minor children, say a little brother is 10 years old. What's going to happen to little brother? Can little brother come? So anyhow, just something to think about with that particular scenario. It's always good to just get a little check, a little gut check as to what you should do with your immigration case. And it's true, you do not have to have an immigration attorney to help you or file your case or walk on this immigration journey with you, but why wouldn't you if you can? So I think a lot of times people, maybe they think they can't afford it, but I like to say you can't afford not to do it in many cases. So anyhow, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
And congrats again on getting your U.S. passport. That's awesome.
That's great.
And then taking this is actually the information, and that is to once you get your citizenship, don't wait to file for your family members if you can help it, right? Just go and file for them.
Remember, the sooner you start it, the sooner it gets done.
Yeah. And if we're talking about, all the countries are taking a really long time, but you file for siblings right now, U.S. citizens, is taking 17, 18, 19, sometimes 22 years, depending on the country. So do not let the time of how long this takes hold you back from filing the petition. And probably a lot of you guys don't know, but there used to be like this product. It was called the Ron Con rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
It was the rotisserie chicken machine.
Yes.
No, it was called the rotisserie. That's all.
No, I think that was,
yeah.
it was like the
It was just
Ron.
yeah, but it was just called the rotisserie, and it would their motto was set it and forget it.
That's right. You put the chicken in, you turn it on, and let it just start doing its thing for the next 4 hours, and you can just go, mow the lawn or go shopping or whatever. And then when you get back, it's ready.
Done.
It's done.
Right. And for siblings, like you go live your life, they live theirs, and they immigrate 20 years later.
Right.
But again, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. Should I tell the story?
Which story?
There's so many.
I'm a little bummed. Eric didn't hear his answer because he said he was driving.
No,
Eric.
He
said he'll rewatch it again. He wanted to know if he could fly to the Philippines after he put his naturalization application in.
Okay, answer is yes.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, yes. But listen to it. Listen to it, Eric.
All the details. But
yeah,
yes, Eric, you can.
Rewatch it again, and that way you get to hear all of it.
Yeah. And you can share it with other people.
That's right. That's right. Sharing is caring. Okay.
What was the story then?
Okay. Let's see here. We have a question. And do we have any other questions from TikTok?
Yeah, there's all kinds of them. Whichever one you want to take next.
Okay, so Joy has a question, and I'm going to just say here before I put your question up, are you sure you want me to discuss this? Because I can, but I prefer to email you back about it, just because it's highly personal information. So I prefer to email you back.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep.
Okay, here is a question.
Hey guys, just whenever you talk to us or one of our other attorneys or anyone in our office, that is a confidential communication.
Right.
Okay.
This is a public space right now. If you have a consultation with us, obviously there is confidentiality. Nothing that you tell us will ever leave our office. So
right. And
not even the fact that we talked to you. We don't even disclose who we've talked to, let alone what we talked about.
Right. We take that very seriously.
Very seriously.
And so, that's why I don't want to answer the question. I could, but
yeah, I mean, we don't. If you contact our office, I mean, we can't even tell anyone that we talked to you. That's
unless you give us permission.
Unless you give us permission to, exactly.
Right. If Joy said, yeah, sure, I'm good with that.
But she's gonna get back to you. That's better anyway.
So the only problem with the stools is that you get kind of squirmy, and then like you can't sit back, and my back is broken. I'm just kidding. I'm a drama queen.
I kind of like the stools.
I like the stools.
I kind of feel.
Who likes the stools? Give us a thumbs up if you like the stools. Give us some, I don't know, hearts or whatever people give. If you
I like to pretend like I'm announcing a Monday night football game.
It does feel like that, right?
Yeah.
We need to get like we need to get the speakers. How's the sound? Does it sound good? All right.
I hope the sound is good.
Yeah, just please answer my question.
I hope we're pretty much blowing Central Park Avenue and Fifth Avenue away.
Look, and we turned the ticker on the bottom, so for a consultation, you can call us or text us at 757-464-9224. We should do that really quickly. So we've been answering questions for about 40 minutes now, and let's reintroduce ourselves. My name is Radlin Mendoza, and that is my husband. That guy right there is my husband. You probably don't recognize him because he shaved his beard.
Oh, that's right. I used to have a big beard.
Yeah. That's no one's commenting on your beard anymore. You just
okay.
You just shaved your what is that? The David and Goliath type. Remember the hair was his power? No, was that not it? Okay, never mind. My biblical stories don't even.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, but anyway.
Right, when you shave the beard, right? That's.
Anyway, I'm John Gardner. This is Radlin Mendoza, and we are the law firm Gardner & Mendoza, our immigration law firm. We have been practicing immigration law together for over 20 years. We come to you every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 to answer your questions and give you immigration updates. And what we do here is for informational and educational purposes only, though. It is not legal advice. If you would like to have your case fully analyzed by our office, then we absolutely welcome that, and you can schedule a consultation.
Sorry. Like he just says it's Samson. Samson with the hair.
Samson.
Not David and Goliath.
Yeah, okay. So we have
Oh my gosh, I'm kind of embarrassed now.
we have somebody who knows their
biblical
stories much better than us.
Samson and Delilah. Is
Okay.
that what it is? Okay. So oops. Rhea, our VA, she's got some Spanish up here. She says that we have an attorney that speaks Spanish, and that is true. And we also have a couple of team members that speak Spanish as well. So y'all are in good hands if you speak only Spanish. John and I used to speak much more Spanish before we got very, very lazy and stopped speaking.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so here's a question. If you get denied for a VAWA application, what's next? So you had a VAWA case, was not successful. What are your options at that point?
So the option is to get a second opinion. The option could be to file a motion to reopen. It really depends on the reason for the denial.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it depends on the reason for the denial. I mean,
really
but I think that if I were to be looking at a VAWA case that was previously denied, I'd be looking at that case really closely and seeing if there were any holes in the case, or did you not respond to a request for evidence, or was there a critical piece of evidence that was missing? Was it for good moral character? I mean, there's so many reasons, right?
Did you miss something? Did you miss a hearing? Yeah. These are all things that we would want to know what the options would be for you.
So that would be my next step, is to get a second opinion on that and have someone really take a look at the VAWA denial and get your whole history, right? Is VAWA the only thing that you can file for at this point in time? I spoke with someone and she was talking about how long one of her other cases was taking. And I was like, well, let's talk about your history. Let's talk about, where are you from? And so there were a couple of other things that we could have done we could do for the family. And you don't know that unless you give someone your whole immigration history and have a strategic session with that attorney. So.
Yeah. And that's really the advantage. I mean, if you have an initial consultation and we have a general idea of what's going on, and then you decide to have a full strategy session with one of our attorneys, that's when we really can find out what are your options. And there may be more than you know, and there may be more than appear at the initial consultation, because as Radlin said, sometimes when we really, really dig into these cases, we discover something that no one knew about, and it changes the entire way that we can go about the case. So cases that maybe we thought were dead aren't dead at all. Maybe another lawyer gave you advice and said, oh, there's nothing you can do, and they were wrong. And so it's really worth your time and your effort, and quite frankly, your money, to have the case fully vetted and analyzed so that you know for sure, because at least you'll know one way or the other.
Right. Absolutely.
You'll know whether you have any viable options or not. This is not a new practice area for us. This is all we've been doing for 22 years.
Yeah. Okay. Miss Evelina has a question. Let me put it up. It's long. Oh, okay. Our friend's daughter, 13 to 15 years old, has been detained in Tijuana, Mexico for about a year now. Wow. An attempt to cross the border. Since then, her mom has been living with the pain of knowing nothing about her. Wow. My question is, how do I go about reuniting them? Is the number I can call to let the center know her mother has a U.S. address? Please help. As a mother, I cannot even imagine being separated from my baby. I completely agree with you. That is something that we would have to get to you, Miss Evelyn. It's not something that we routinely, well, we don't do that type of immigration law. But I can get some resources for you, and I will reach out to you through Messenger. I think that's how we talk to each other or maybe email, but I will get that. I will get some information from some of our other colleagues who practice in that area and get back to you.
Okay? Absolutely. That's something we can track down.
Shoot me a message through Messenger, because trust me, when this is over, my brain is dead, right? What's happening over here? I don't know. All right. Our brain is dead.
Yeah. Okay, shifting gears for just a little bit. You ready for a brain shift?
Sure.
All right, brain shift is so here's more of a general question. What are the visas that I could apply for when doing business in the U.S.? Somebody that wants to do business here, what could be some of the options for them? Because we've been talking all about family immigration law,
yeah.
But there's a whole other area of immigration law that involves business.
Right.
Like Elon Musk, when we started, for those of you who joined late, we were talking about him at the beginning.
Yeah. So there are a variety of things depending on, again, these are all very fact specific, even, what country you're from. So there's the E2, the investor's visa. There is the L1A, intra-company transferee. So you have a company abroad and you want to open up a startup company here in the United States, a new office in the United States. There's potentially the EB5, where you have to invest. I don't know what the minimum amount is right now. I believe I'm not going to guess, but it is over $1 million now, unless you are in a targeted, what we call a target employment area. And that's a lesser amount. I believe it's about 750,000. There is, if a business wants to petition for you and you are eligible, there is the H-1B, which Elon Musk was going for if you want to work for a company. If you're a person of, there's so many things, right? If you're a person of extraordinary ability, there's that as well. There's the O1, which is the non-immigrant equivalent of that. If you're a pastor, there's the R1, or if you work in, so there's a whole host of things. And we would have to really get down and dirty with, what is your business? What are you doing back home?
Right. What kind of business are you engaged in?
What do you want to do?
Where are you from? What do you want to do? What's the long-term plan? Is this a temporary thing? Are you hoping to be here permanently?
Yep.
A lot to unpack there. And so strongly suggest, but rather than just, wow. I mean, she said that she was brain drained, but did you see that? Even on a brain drain, she just absolutely rattled off all that.
Yeah. But, we knew some people. It was the triathlon people who ran the triathlon club down the street. They were on an E2 and they were from the UK, and they had the triathlon club for, I think, maybe 25 years. And so constantly renewing their E2, showing that they had this business. And then they left. And
went back to England.
And then the triathlon camp club was no longer there off of Great Neck Road. They were the nicest people.
I will forever be grateful to them, because right before we did a sprint triathlon in Williamsburg a few years ago.
We're going to do one again.
And right when we were getting ready to start, I had a major issue with one of my bike tires. It was flat. The tube was broken. And I didn't really know how to, I'm not a bicycle guy. I know how to ride a bike, obviously.
You're not a gearhead?
No, I'm not a gearhead. And they didn't know me at all, other than the fact that we were both from Virginia Beach. I said, "Oh yeah, I've seen your place down the street." And they fixed my bike. They took the tire off, put a new tube in, got it all ready within like minutes. They were like so fast. And then I was off, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Right. So for the E2, you have to make a substantial investment in a new business, and that's what they did. So anyhow,
right,
there are a lot.
Some of your options.
Give us a call, and we will have a strategy session and figure out where we should put you.
Yeah, and I just want to say generally, again, we're answering your questions here about immigration, and most of you that come to our live stream here do have questions that involve family immigration. But it's always good to keep in mind that there are business immigration avenues that may be available for you or people that you know. And so if you think you have no options, you might ask yourself, well, maybe business immigration would be a way that I could go. Maybe there's some way that I could pursue this through business, especially if you have a large sum of money.
or a vibrant business back home, where,
Yeah.
so anyhow.
Or a very specialized skill, etc. Okay. All right. You want to take one over here?
Let me grab this question here.
Here we go.
Martha says, if a 21-year-old son files a petition for his parents, what type of petition is approved? So I believe the question is, what is the petition that the son files? It is the I-130 petition. So hopefully that helps, Martha. If you need any help with that, love it when a son or daughter turns 21 and can file that petition for his or her parents, and we love helping people like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of those cases.
Yep.
All right, Sophia here wants to know, good evening. I'm a U.S.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I want to petition my siblings.
Okay.
Great. Heard that before.
Yep.
Her question is, do they need to be single?
Great question.
What if the siblings are married?
Great question. You can file a petition as a U.S. citizen for married and unmarried siblings, for all of your siblings. So it's great that they're married, because down the road, again, way down the road, their spouses and their children, perhaps, I say perhaps because they could age out, would be able to immigrate with their mom or dad. I don't have any other questions over here, so we can take more. And guys, I want to ask you, if you think this information is helpful, would love for you to share our page and like our page, and on TikTok, please share the videos if you think they're going to be helpful to people. And I know they have been, because people have messaged me and have told me that the videos and the live streams are helpful. So please share. We like to get this information out to as many people as possible, just for the sole purpose of stopping and saying, hey, I probably need to sit down with someone and talk about my case. And that someone could be us. We would love it if you came in and did a strategy session with us from one of our attorneys. But it can be someone that you're comfortable with, an immigration attorney that you're comfortable with, that has a good reputation, that you've checked their reviews, that you've done your due diligence in finding immigration attorney. I spoke with someone this week, and he said, we had the worst immigration attorney in the history of all immigration. And he's so mad at this lawyer. And, the case did not end well. Right. And just looking at the case, mistakes were made, and they should not have been made. Nobody's perfect. But so just my point is, do your due diligence on anyone who you talk to. Come look us up. Come look at our reviews. Talk to our see what people say on our Facebook Live, and as well as the comments. So
we certainly hope that you'll call us, of course. But if you are going to use a different attorney, as Radlin said, I would recommend making sure that it's somebody that only does immigration law and has been doing it for a while. I'm not trying to slam other attorneys, but I would be careful with attorneys that have a gazillion practice areas, and one of them just happens to be immigration, because immigration is not a practice area that should be dabbled in by anyone.
Right.
It's something that you're either an immigration lawyer or you're not. And so I would make sure that you deal with somebody who that's all they do. All right.
Good tip. That is advice.
That
particular thing, that particular one is advice. See, I'm leaning on my husband now, because
that's what I'm here for.
There's no back to this stool.
I hope that you will lean on me for all of your days.
I will if you let me.
Okay, here's a question from TikTok, and this is kind of a general question that you can address, hopefully. A couple things. We have a permanent resident here in the United States, has a girlfriend in another country, don't know what country. And so this permanent resident here in the U.S., he's already thinking about how does he get her here. better as a girlfriend, as a wife, as a fiance visa? Does he have to naturalize first? These are all the questions I'm sure are going through his head right now.
So again, this is a very fact specific question. And the question I have back is, what is the goal? What is your goal? Or do you want to marry this person right now? Then you may have to do that, because the fiance visa is not available to lawful permanent residents. You can only file a fiance visa if you are a U.S. citizen. So it really just depends on the goals. Do you want this person to just come visit and meet the family? Can she get a tourist visa and do that and fulfill that? So really, I mean, it's kind of like asking, I just don't know. I mean, there are different possibilities, but it really has to do with, what the couple's goals are. And if it's just, I really want her or him or her to come here and, meet my family, that may or may not be possible. If she has a tourist visa, then that's going to be possible. But if she doesn't and has to apply, a lot depends on, her background and what she does back home. So, I think the most important takeaway here is, it's not the most important takeaway, maybe it is, but the fiance visa is not available to lawful permanent residents. And again, more follow-up questions would be, when are you able to apply for U.S. citizenship?
Mm-hmm.
And can you apply for U.S. citizenship? Can you wait? It's taking about 12 months in most jurisdictions. So timing-wise, it could be faster to file it as a lawful permanent resident if the visa bulletin does not get backlogged. So the takeaway is to call us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
and let us
again, another example of there's a lot there, and
yeah,
we would really want to have a long strategy session with you about what your options would be.
Yep.
Okay. Here's one. Jem Soto wants to know, and there's a lot here, and I apologize. These questions, especially on TikTok, they're very short, and so inevitably we have pieces that are missing. So we kind of have to guess and give some of the options. But this person wants to know, is there any way to have a visa for a person who's been undocumented for a few months now? So again, is there any way? Maybe. It depends on, when you say they're undocumented for a few months now, do you mean they just came in the country undocumented? Do you mean that they were here and something has expired and now they're out of status?
Right. Yeah.
Is
it possible? Yes,
it is possible.
It's also may not be possible.
Right.
But
it may not be possible.
In a case like in a situation like this, we would ask about family history. How many times have you entered the United States? Do you go back and forth? How many times have you entered the United States without inspection, without a visa, without a passport, if any? And so there's a lot that we get into with regard to family history, and even delving into, are you eligible for a U visa, which is, have you ever been the victim of a crime? Are you eligible for trafficking, a T visa? So there's so many things. And, some of you all might be thinking, well, that's kind of a long shot, but you would be surprised at how many people have been victims of a crime and could potentially apply for a U visa. So anyhow,
And I hear our timekeeper.
I hear our timekeeper.
Well, the
Ray.
person, we got a little extra info. The thank you, they said, glad we could help. And then when the follow-up was, when my fiance comes on a K-1 and we get married, when can he travel internationally? So I don't think we have enough time to unpack that, unfortunately. So that was the question about the girlfriend, the green card holder overseas, who apparently is the husband. In any event,
the fiance,
yeah, we're gonna need. Here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Hold that question because we're out of time.
Hi, Ray.
Tonight. Hold that question for 7 days. Okay. Next Wednesday at 8:00.
Well, what is exactly the question? Like, if they come on a fiance visa, when can they travel back?
When can he travel? I think it says internationally. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, to travel outside of the country. So, just really quickly, we'll end on this. Hello,
Okay.
Ray. We're almost done. Ray is our 11-year-old. She comes and tells us it's time to help her with her homework, so we don't run over, because we have run over, and she doesn't like that.
Yep.
So when a person comes in on a fiance visa, in order to apply for the green card and also permission to travel abroad, you have to get married first, of course, within the first 90 days, apply for the green card application. And along with that, you can apply for something called advanced parole, which allows you to travel outside of the United States while that process is pending. So how long? Long. 7-8 months or 9 before advanced parole document comes to your now husband to go back to his country for a visit. All right. So
All right, we'll end on
hopefully
that
that answers your question.
Yep.
Ray loves looking at herself, I see. Y'all on TikTok can't see.
Yeah,
Ray's really admiring herself today.
This is the youngest.
Yeah,
of
this is
of
our baby right
three
here.
daughters.
This is
our
our baby.
youngest.
She also appears on TikTok videos. But anyhow,
And
y'all
she
have
had-
a great night. Now, one last thing. Please join our immigration group, Live Love Immigration, and introduce yourselves there. We're trying to create a community of people who care about immigration and have been through the immigration journey themselves and can help others. So, all right.
She's got the Knoxville shirt on it. If
Yeah, the
there's
Tennessee.
Is there any volunteers out there? She's a fan. Okay, I'll have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next Wednesday at 8:00. All right. Have a good
Bye,
night,
guys.
everyone.
Take care.
care.
Thank
Thumbs
you.
up.
2 thumbs up.
Bye, TikTok.
Bye.
Bye, Facebook.
How do you? The
Okay,
mouse thing.
yeah.